Hey guys, and welcome to Double Thrill. Today we're looking at Apotheon, a newly released indie RPG on Steam, so to speak, with a ancient Greek setting, or an ancient Greek mythology setting, I should say. It's more accurate. This is by Alien Trap Games, which some of you may know as the developers of a little game called Capsized, which was like a it's like a little side-scrolly sci-fi sort of action puzzly type thing. It's pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's on Steam. Check that out if you're interested. But this is their latest work. This is their latest project from that developer, Alien Trap. So we'll just get into here.
The forest reveals a fresh-faced hunter. Come to test yourself against the wilderness of Artemis?
I am. That's what is exactly what I'm here for. Actually, I just want his bow, to be honest.
Stand above these other huntsmen who play with their toys.
Alright, I'll do whatever shit you want.
Become the fiercest beast in the...
Yeah.
Show your work.
Alright. So the setup here is basically that we are Nicandrios, which is apparently Greek for, or Latin maybe. I don't actually know the difference, to be honest. For essentially man of victory, or like man of victory, or like man of doing well, so to speak. And you are tasked. You essentially task yourself with.
Ain't no room anywhere else on Olympus.
Uh-oh.
Unless you've got.
That's rude. Okay. Yeah, you essentially assign yourself to just defeat all the Olympian gods, or a bunch of the Olympian gods, with the main one being Olympus. Not Olympus, what am I talking about? Being Zeus. That's not why I said Olympus. Olympus is like the place or whatever. So that is our main objective. To get to Zeus, or to defeat Zeus, I should say, we have to defeat a lot of his like family, his minions, his lower gods or whatever.
Back off, brother.
So we can gain their powers and some of their weapons and stuff, so we can actually defeat Zeus. Since we are just a mere mortal, and we have no chance of fighting a Greek god, an Olympian god. Olympian? I don't really know. So at the moment we just have to. Well, at the moment, if you saw before, we're just trying to get Artemis's bow. This is right at the beginning of the game. Literally, like, I finished this game. I'm actually currently working on a review for this, but I literally just started a new game. Oh god, I forgot that. They like knock you out when they hit you or something. Yeah, I'm actually working on a review of this at the moment, so I just started a new game and quickly dashed through the sort of intro prologue type thing. So this is just straight off the prologue. This is the very first thing you have to do. You get a series of objectives like this. So we're just going to mess with this one to start with, because I think this is the best one to start with, because I think it certainly shows quite a lot of the game off.
Back off.
Okay. Oh my weapon broke. So there's quite a bit to talk about here. It's a fairly small game. It took me about 6 hours or so. It's not a particularly long game, but there is quite a lot to it. There's quite a lot to talk about. Obviously, the narrative elements are pretty good. They're pretty well done. I found that it was a pretty compelling, I should say, story. Pretty compelling reason to go on. And a lot of the way that the gods portrayed is it's pretty well done. It's I said in my review, it's like respectfully done in a way. Like, there aren't many games that really use some Greek gods, like God of War is the obvious one, but like that game, I don't think you can really call that game respectful in any way, really. Like that's a great series of games, but you know, they're not very accurate to the source material or whatever, which this game certainly is. I think they do a lot of this stuff really well. They do it, like I said, respectfully. And a lot of the voice acting for the gods is also really well done. Just a lot of the presentation of this game is just superb. Obviously you've got this excellent art style, which, to my ignorance, can only really be described as like that Greek pottery stuff. So if you can kind of imagine Greek pottery, if you can just look up Greek pottery, you'll see what I mean. Like that kind of. I'm sure there's a name for that art style. There almost definitely is, but I am unaware of it. But you know that kind of like orangey or like bright colours on a really stark black background or a really profound black, or whatever. If you know what I mean. Like I said, just look it up and you know exactly what I mean. So that's the kind of style they're going for, and I think they nail it pretty much. They do a great job recreating that. We missed one. And as I said, you know, the voice acting, the general presentation is just superb. It really is one of the game's biggest strengths. And the combat is, I think, interesting. Definitely the word for it. I don't think the execution is 100% there, unfortunately. I think the easiest way to describe it in a couple of words is Dark Souls-like. But I think to just stick with that is a bit lazy and not necessarily true. I don't think it really does the actual combat justice. I don't think it really. I think it's almost a little bit insulting to Dark Souls, to be honest. I know it's kind of a cliche at this point to say combat is like Dark Souls in games, but
Which one of you did
it's a fair comparison at like first glance. For the first few hours of the game, I was definitely thinking, like, yeah, this is definitely a lot like Dark Souls in concept. Only in that, like, you know, you constantly got a shield that you're blocking with. You can dodge. You know, you've got a stamina bar in the bottom left that depletes whenever you swing. Like stuff like that. Really, really fundamental Dark Souls-y stuff. But I feel like that's where the comparisons stop for me, at least. Kill this direwolf. Like, there are some ideas that are like Dark Souls, and obviously there are some mechanics that are a lot like Dark Souls. So that's about it, really. Like, the flow of combat isn't really the same, especially, and obviously especially because it's 2D as well. There's a lot. There are a lot of differences when you actually get into it. Also, there is a way more robust, like, ranged combat system than there ever was in any of the Souls games. As you can see, I have at the bottom right that I have my melee weapons here, my ranged weapons here, and you can actually throw any of your melee weapons, but obviously you don't really want to do that unless you can retrieve it. Oh god, he's way down there. You can actually use a lot of these ranged weapons as melee weapons as well, because they're just like that, but obviously they are most effective as thrown weapons. Or like bows or whatever it actually is. So, the combat's kind of hard to explain, especially, it's definitely hard to demonstrate when I'm fighting like a creature like this and not a human with a, you know, like a sword and a shield or whatever that can dodge and parry and stuff. But in concept, I think it's satisfying at its best, but it kind of, there are some design elements that are a bit frustrating. I think there are definitely some things that the game could do better or could do differently that would improve it. Like, it's hard to explain, but like the blocking is a little bit weird. Like you sort of you need to sort of be on the very tip of the attack to actually block it. Otherwise it'll just go straight through you and it'll what do you call it? It'll just go through you and damage you. So the block will fail essentially, which might. Oh, that guy hit me. Very nice. Which sounds like it kind of makes sense and sounds like almost what you'd expect at first glance or when I first say it, but like it just sort of creates a lot of situations where you feel like you should have blocked but you don't for whatever reason, so it kind of makes the blocking feel a bit ineffectual at times. And I feel like most, like 60% or 70% of the blocks that I did throughout the game were just failures, even though I felt like they should have been, they should have worked or whatever, so that's kind of annoying. There we go. That guy really gave me some trouble, didn't he? What else do we need to do? We need to go down and defeat the Chimera. And also, the whole stamina bar thing seems, it just feels unnecessary to me. It feels like an unnecessary thing to include. personally. Like, I feel like they just added it to add an extra layer of like, I don't know, like, you know, tactical complexity or whatever, but it just feels unnecessary. It just disrupts the flow of combat because, like, generally the combat is quite fast in this game, especially in later situations where you're fighting multiple enemies at one time, which you generally are. You're rarely fighting just one enemy, unless it's like a boss. And even then, they often have minions and ads and stuff. How do we get down there? I think there's a cave? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So that feels unnecessary, and it definitely depletes way too quick. It's kind of got that like Dead Island or like Dying Light thing where it just depletes so quickly that you barely have a chance to attack. It just feels totally unnecessary. I don't think that's a great addition. I don't think it's very necessary. I think they should have like taken out or whatever. It doesn't add anything positive to the game. It just sort of just takes away, really. This I can never find the camera. I'm actually recording this again because I just finished recording it and found out that, oh, I didn't even fucking start recording it. So that's good stuff there. So that's me doing all this again. You have to go up here. Oh god. Right, I'm just going to throw a spear around. Oh god. Oh, there's something about the aiming in this game that's just a nightmare. Like, it's hard to explain, but it feels like you should have 360 control, but it's a bit stiff at times and a bit responsive, which, like, generally it will just lock onto, if you're trying to fight an enemy, it'll lock onto an enemy pretty well. Like, if I just go like that, it'll generally try to lock onto him. But if you're trying to aim at stuff in the environment like I was before, it can be a real nightmare. Especially when you run into like puzzles that come up later on where you're required to do some pretty precise aiming to like hit a switch or something, and you're just trying to aim at essentially something in the environment, and it literally took me like 10 minutes to try and hit one switch. It's such a nightmare. So that stuff is not great, although I generally prefer using, you'll probably see it here in this fight, I generally prefer to use like ranged weapons in fights, especially ones where, you know, it's a monster who's like running around, but oh boy. It just feels a lot less clunky than the melee combat, and a lot more responsive, especially just purely because you get the lock on thing. Yeah, if you're first trying to aim myself, it'd be a nightmare, but... And I think the key word for it is just it feels more consistent than the melee combat, because the combat, the melee is like pretty satisfying when it works, and it's generally the most effective route to take combat wise, but it's just so inconsistent with some of the blocking stuff, and it can generally feel a little bit clunky at times. So it's always nice to have a good bow or a good like javelin to throw every now and then. And also this boss is just a nightmare to try and hit. You probably see down there, like, I only have a couple of weapons here, but the general emphasis is on carrying more weapons rather than a few good ones. Like, well, I certainly feel that way anyway. Because, like I said, you've got that horrible durability stuff, so that, you know, if you find a weapon, it's really not going to last particularly long. Oh boy. Even shields break pretty quick after several blocks. So there are a number of weapon types, like swords, spears, and like bows and whatever. But you'll rarely find a particular weapon that you like and stick with it. It's rather, like I said, find a weapon type that you like and then try and stick with weapons of that type. Like, I generally found that swords were pretty effective, javelins were quite good, or spears I should say. Stuff like that. Whereas, you know, if I found it a nice sword or a nice javelin, a spear again, sorry, I couldn't really stick with it because it would break within minutes, honestly, within like 10 swings. So I feel like I've generally found that if you find like a decent weapon with some cool effects on it, as you do get, you know, the best way to handle that is just to sort of try and conserve it. If you just try to imagine that every weapon has limited uses, if you find a good one,
Well,
I just had to try and
it looks
conserve
like
it for
he's
like bigger enemies
the
or
last
bosses or
mortal
whatever.
to hunt alongside Artemis was mighty Orion. But
Oh,
then
right.
he fell to Scorpio's sting.
Yes,
Oh boy, not
and the
Scorpion.
last man to see the sacred grove was poor Apotheon. Ah, devoured by his own hounds.
Do you think your fate will be better?
I do. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. So you can probably see that, again, you know, I was talking about some of the presentation earlier. I think the voice acting is generally pretty good. It's pretty solid. Obviously, most of the characters are like gods or whatever, so it's totally right that they should have pretty effective voices or pretty resounding voices or whatever. Oh. Come on, Artemis, I swung your bow. It's really not that much of a problem. Oh, that's not it. No, I did this before. I got lost trying to find Artemis and ended up going into some underwater cave. We have to go up, not down. I'll go away. Oh, also I forgot that. There is a fairly basic crafting system here. It uses some of the items on the left that you find throughout the game to create a number of these things. Obviously this grows, you get more recipes and stuff, you find them, you buy them, stuff like that. The basic one is obviously creating potions, that's the most useful one. And then Greek Fire, which is like a firebomb type thing. go. There's also like an inventory screen. You see, here's my melee weapons on the left, ranged weapons, like throwables or consumable items. Or I guess that's consumables, and that's more just secondary weapons or whatever. Like craftable items and usable items, shields and torch, armor, and obviously on the right there you've got various upgrades which can be purchased from like vendors and stuff in various markets and stuff. I think I need to jump down here. Oh god damn it! Fuck. Thankfully you can't drown in this game, which is nice. There's no breathing underwater or whatever to worry about. Oh, we were like one thing too low or something. I thought that was a bit far away, to be honest. Alright, let's get up here. Oh boy. What's the way of thing? Alright. Alright, I'll take some. Are you selling anything?
You should make for a fine hunter. You just need the right arrows and traps.
Hmm. We'll just get some arrows. Oh boy, sorry about that. Okay, this is the one. There we go. Now we can get Artemis's bow. Alright, I'm glad we're showing this boss fight because this is a fairly interesting one. Fairly indicative of the rest of the fights in this game. Because obviously there are plenty of boss fights in this game. Since the whole crux is you hunting down various bosses and whatever. In all my realm. They're generally pretty interesting. Now that Zeus has cut the fairly cut and dry stuff. Right, I'll just skip some of the stuff. But... So the idea here is that she is like a hunter. I am the prey here, and I'm trying to get to all these checkpoints, so then I will eventually become, when I get there, then I become the hunter, and then it's her turn to do the same, and that's when I can do damage to her and stuff, and vice versa. So there's some interesting boss fights here. This will turn me into a human.
Catch me if you can, huntsman.
And I think, honestly, the best thing you could say about these fights is that they are, faithful to. I said faithful to the source material before, but like they really are. They're like accurate to the boss. Like she's the goddess of hunting or something, or survival or something to that effect. So of course she would have you, or the fight would have you being chased and then chasing, hunting and being the prey. So some smart boss fights, not just cut and dry, just raw fighting. Although there are some of those, but then again that's for like the god of war or whatever. So it's appropriate even when it's not like that. She's putting on a bear trap. That's not a bear trap. It's gonna hurt. Could you really use a bear trap on a deer? Is that really a thing? Like that doesn't. I mean, I guess you could use it on anything if they stand in it, but like I don't know. It's a bear trap. Like surely wouldn't the thing be too big for the feet? Maybe you need 4 as well. I don't know. A deer are probably just too nimble to get caught in those. Yeah, so this is a fight where the ranged lock-on comes in pretty handy. Like, it gives you a fairly generous lock-on if you're close enough. Oh god, are we gonna get any hits off this time? Oh god, she's trying to like juke us. There we go. God damn it. Alright, this should be the last one. If it's not, then I fucked up. Alright, let's keep going. Oh boy, she hit me on. Alright, so Oh no. Okay, now this one should be the one, right? Okay, nice. I like that slow-mo effect, it's pretty cool. I didn't think that would hit, to be honest. There we go, it's nice. There we go, nice. We get quick reload with every boss. So every boss will give you that some sort of passive like that. Some sort of effect. Which is pretty nice. And then you get this cool effect. Where you got all the statues of the gods that you need to kill, and then whenever you kill one, they crumble. Pretty cool effect. So I think we'll leave that here, honestly. I don't want to do the sheath one because that leads to a really horrible bit, which is a pretty nasty bit, which isn't great. So we won't go to that straight away, but we'll take a quick look at the market. So you probably saw throughout I was acquiring gold, although I did think I did just spend that all on like a bunch of arrows right at the end.
Oil up. Today you try.
You know, you can train in specific weapon types to make that yourself better in that. You buy potions, you can buy weapons down there, armor. Generally, just get upgrades to your armor, different types of armor and stuff. It's all pretty expensive stuff, but it's pretty useful. Otherwise, you know, you just find weapons and armor and stuff on the battlefield. Although you can only upgrade the potency of the armor through the market or whatever. Obviously, it's like the hub area or whatever. So those are the two objectives. Are like part of the first series of objectives. Like I said, we're right at the start of the game here. Literally, the first thing you do is these three things. So like I said, I'll leave it here. Currently working on a review for this at the moment. That should be up within the next week or so. Like I said, I did finish it, so it's not a particularly long game. About 6 hours, so it took me. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, yeah, that's Apotheon. It's on Steam and PS4, I want to say. Steam, it's about £12 or $15.
Stand down.
Oh, sorry, buddy. And I believe it's also on PS Plus. So if you're a PS Plus member, you've already got this game. So unfortunately, it's not on the Xbox One for whatever reason. That seems to be the case with a lot of these sort of indie games, but they still get snagged up on PS Plus, and then yeah, Xbox is never to be seen. But if you don't have a PlayStation, it is on Steam, so it's always nice. Or obviously non-Steam services like GOG or whatever. So yeah, that's Apotheon. It's interesting to say the least. I think the presentation is superb. I think some of the narrative stuff is pretty compelling, pretty well done. But I have some issues with the combat. It can feel a bit clunky, and some of the blocking is a little bit awkward. It's not necessarily as tight as you'd want it to be, or even as you'd expect it to be. Really, like it probably looks a lot better than it actually plays through video. But if you actually get your hands on it, it's pretty clunky. It's not great in effect, but yeah, I still like it. I think it's a good overall package, and for the price, it's worth it. So that's Apotheon. Check it out. See you later, guys.